Rain poured relentlessly that evening, turning the lonely highway into a slick ribbon of uncertainty. Michael Carter, a hard-working single dad, gripped the steering wheel of his beat-up pickup truck with white, knuckled determination. He had spent the day delivering supplies, picking up extra shifts, all to make ends meet for his young daughter, Lily. His mind was occupied with worries about rent, groceries, and school fees when a flash of movement on the side of the road caught his eye. There, drenched and shivering, stood a woman in an elegant business suit, her designer heels sinking into the mud, umbrella long gone. Michael pulled over instinctively, despite knowing he couldn't afford delays or trouble. "Hey, are you okay?" he called, trying to mask the urgency and concern in his voice. She looked up startled, and for a brief moment, the rain seemed to pause around her. "Oh, I think so," she said, her voice quivering, exhaustion etched across her delicate features. Michael extended a hand and helped her into the cab, ignoring the mud tracking across his seat. He didn't know why, but something in her eyes, a mix of fear and dignity, made him determined to help, no matter the inconvenience. As the truck rattled along the winding road, she remained silent, and Michael respected her quiet. But his curiosity couldn't be contained. "Where are you headed?" he asked cautiously. She hesitated, then muttered, "Somewhere I shouldn't be stranded." Michael smiled wryly. He didn't judge. He just knew what it felt like to be stuck, helpless, and relying on the kindness of strangers. Little did he know, this seemingly ordinary act of compassion would soon decide the course of his life forever. And if you're already hooked by this story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, because the twists coming up will blow your mind. Michael drove her to the nearest gas station, refusing any payment when she offered, insisting that sometimes help should be given without expectation. "I know how hard life can be," he said quietly. "A little kindness goes a long way." She studied him carefully, a subtle, almost imperceptible smile tugging at her lips. Her name was Evelyn Hart, a woman whose life seemed worlds apart from Michael's. Wealth, influence, and prestige radiated from her every gesture. They didn't know each other, yet the connection in that cramped pickup cab was tangible. Michael didn't care about her status. He cared that she was cold, scared, and stranded. He even shared stories about Lily, the bright, stubborn little girl waiting at home, her laughter echoing in his heart despite the hardships. Evelyn listened, intrigued, realizing that the man before her, despite his struggles, possessed an integrity and warmth she rarely encountered in the corridors of power. The hours passed, rain easing into a drizzle, and Michael dropped her off safely at a nearby hotel. Evelyn thanked him politely, yet internally she was conflicted. Michael had unknowingly touched a part of her world she guarded fiercely. Human decency, genuine care, and selflessness. She had a secret he couldn't fathom. She was a judge assigned to a high-profile case that could impact Michael's family directly, a case that had already created tension in his small town. A ripple of guilt and responsibility surged through her mind. She had to weigh his fate, yet the memory of his unassuming heroism haunted her. Michael waved goodbye, unaware of the storm of decisions Evelyn faced, carrying with him only the quiet satisfaction of having done the right thing. But as he drove away, the universe quietly set its gears in motion, intertwining their fates in ways neither could predict. Weeks later, Michael's life took an unexpected turn. He had been called to court, summoned due to the high-profile legal battle threatening his home and livelihood. His palms sweated as he entered the imposing courtroom, his modest clothes a stark contrast to the polished interior and the sea of suits around him. To his shock, the judge presiding was none other than Evelyn Hart. She looked different now. Her hair perfectly styled, glasses perched delicately on her nose, an aura of authority emanating from her presence. For a moment, neither recognized the other, caught in the web of professionalism and decorum. As the proceedings began, Michael felt the weight of uncertainty pressing on him. Every word, every motion in court could tip the scales of his family's future. Evelyn, on the other hand, struggled internally to maintain impartiality. She remembered the rain-soaked man who had helped her weeks ago, whose kindness had been genuine, effortless, and entirely untainted by expectation. Could she allow this memory to influence her judgment? Could she reconcile her duty with the undeniable truth of his character? As witnesses spoke, evidence was presented, and arguments flew. Evelyn observed Michael closely. He didn't plead, he didn't beg, he presented facts, spoke truth, and maintained dignity even in the face of adversity. The courtroom was tense, hearts pounding, and yet a silent recognition passed between them, a recognition of integrity, courage, and compassion. And to everyone watching this story unfold, don't forget to like and subscribe, because the climax is coming, and it will leave you breathless. Finally, the moment of judgment arrived. Evelyn rose from her seat, gavel in hand, her eyes locking on Michael's. She took a deep breath, her mind replaying every detail of that rainy night. The fear in her voice, the warmth of his presence, the quiet heroism of a man who had given without asking, with a composed voice that carried both authority and compassion. She rendered her decision. Michael's case was resolved in his favor. Relief flooded his system, disbelief mingling with gratitude. But it wasn't just a legal victory. It was validation of his character, proof that integrity and kindness still mattered in a world obsessed with status and wealth. After the proceedings, Michael stepped outside into the bright sunlight, the tension of weeks melting from his shoulders. Evelyn followed, removing her glasses, revealing the warmth behind her eyes that had been hidden beneath the mask of authority. "I never expected to see you like this," Michael said, still awed by the twist of fate that had brought them together. She smiled, a small, genuine curve of her lips, and replied, "Life has a way of testing us, and sometimes it rewards what we cannot see at first glance." They walked together toward the street, their shadows stretching long in the late afternoon sun, both feeling an unspoken bond, a connection forged not through wealth or power, but through honesty, bravery, and selfless kindness. Michael looked down at his daughter, Lily, waiting nearby, and realized that this moment wasn't just about him. It was about creating a future for her built on integrity, compassion, and love. Evelyn squeezed his hand gently, and he knew that whatever storms might come, they would face them together. And for everyone watching, remember to like, subscribe, and share this story, because moments of humanity can change destiny, and perhaps even your own.